Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have the open-ended topic of the universe having an important message for you. So could be generally any area of your life, romance, career, spirituality. We'll see what pops up when we get to your reading. But first, let's pick our piles for today. We have three like usual. For my pile number ones, I have the card Patience. For my pile number twos, I have the card Regret. And for my pile number threes, I have the card Reconnect. So whenever you are ready, after you've meditated on these piles and decided which one calls the most to you, feel free to drop down to the timestamp in the description box below and or the top pinned comment beneath the video. Click on the timestamp and you'll immediately be taken to your Universe Has an Important Message for You reading for today, and I'll see you there. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number ones. Welcome to your pick a card reading on the topic of the universe has an important message for you. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the card of Patience. Hold that up again just for a second, of the water bucket pouring water into a pond. Okay, we'll set your pile leader off to the left here. We will flip over your oracle cards in just a moment, but first I also want to draw some tarot cards for you from Spirit regarding the message that wants to be conveyed to you. So Spirit, for pile number ones, could you draw about 4 to 5 cards or so on what this important message is for them? Okay. So, we're using the Ostara Tarot today. Okay. Some are almost flipping, not quite. Let's see, let's do this one, 2, pull that one too, and how about that one? Okay. And then we will probably pull more too in the future, but we'll start off with those 4. So, first, oracle cards. So your Healing Spirits oracle card for today is Go Within, with a vibrant red color. Beautiful. Go Within. I just love the colors in this deck. It's beautiful. Okay. Your Sacred Destiny for today is Focus, with a leopard or snow leopard, given the environment, and a mountain in the background. Okay. Focus, Go Within, and Patience. Okay, I think I'm already kind of gleaning some sort of message here, but of course we'll talk about your tarot cards too before I say anything conclusive. And then your Pastoral Tarot is the Ace of Wands. I always read that as the beginning of a new inspiration or a spark of creativity. With a little ginger tabby, it looks like, on a fence. Very cute. Okay, actually I'm going to shift this a little bit. We're going to do it this way. Alright, and then let's look at your tarot cards. So first up we have the card of Temperance, which means moderation or balance. Hot and cold, yin and yang. Okay. Then we have the card of the Ten of Cups. Lovely card to get. The card of Happily Ever After, of emotional satisfaction is another way to say that. Okay. Then we have the Page of Pentacles. So exploring the material world in some way, could mean career or money. And then your last card here, for the moment at least, is the Hierophant reversed. So bucking tradition is the summary I always say for the Hierophant reversed. Okay. What are we letting go of from the past? What tradition or pattern are we letting go of? Okay. One moment as I look over your cards, pile number ones, to glean the message from everything that's been pulled. Okay, so we have Patience, Temperance reverse, or upright, excuse me. Go Within, Happiness. All right. So pile number ones, your message from the universe is a little bit something, or something a little bit more intangible. It's not so much about a thing that's occurring in the material world for you. It's more about the way you think about how you go about life, and or kind of your emotional state, or what drives you, I guess is a better way to explain that, or to summarize that. And the reason I say that, pile number ones, is because not only did you get tarot cards from pretty much every, or like different suits, so it tells me there's not really like a single focus. Also, just as a general reading, everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Everything's not gonna exactly apply to everybody, but yeah, this is more of a mindset shift, like I said. This is more about the way you go about your drive and your focus in life. Because not only did you get the card of focus here, and the card of patience was your pile leader you chose, right? You also got the Ace of Wands, and that's, like I said, the beginning or a new spark of something, okay? Wands are fire, which tends to be like willpower, things you're creative with, that type of thing. What drives you. Passions could be another interpretation. And, too, with your go within card here, completely red card, which, of course, red is evocative of fire, so I get kind of a wand suit energy from that oracle card, even though the Healing Spirits Oracle, of course, it doesn't have suits like tarot does, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. So this mindset shift, pile number ones, is all about the question of what makes you happy, and what is the right balance to strike in your life on the path to that happiness. Now, it does involve a little bit of the material world here with the Page of Pentacles, because obviously the material world is very involved in what our happiness is, or how we get to happiness. Like they always say, money doesn't buy happiness, but money can be the brick road on the way there that helps carry you to happiness, right? So, of course, I'm not just saying, like, money doesn't matter at all. It does, but, or the material things, your job, where you live, etc., that type of thing, prosperity, abundance. But this is more a message from the universe about how to find happiness that doesn't necessarily rely on the material world, and your drive and your focus changing and shifting towards that instead. So not necessarily forsaking monetary gain, like I said with the Page of Pentacles. There's a little bit of a focus on the earth realm there, the material, but finding a balance here with temperance. This is all about, like I said, yin and yang, hot and cold, fire and water. What drives you in terms of finding a balance of what drives you in life, rather than singly focusing on one specific thing. I get the sense for most of you, maybe there's been a focus recently in your life of seeing the world in a very earthly way, and I don't mean that in like a condescending way, because like I said, material gain, materials, monetary things do matter. It affects a lot of our life, right? But there's a lot of emotional satisfaction to be derived from life in terms of other aspects of the things that we do, or in terms of finding goals that aren't just of the material realm, okay? So I get the sense, especially with the Hierophant reversed here, like I said, that's the card of bucking tradition. That's letting go of patterns from the past. Oftentimes I see this in readings about things that have been passed down from family, things that have been passed down as a tradition in your culture, and or your insular like family group, right? Your blood close family. The things that were passed down psychologically, of course, and or culturally. It could be that there was a lot of focus on, money making you the most happy, or money is the main point of whatever it is that you do. Kind of almost like a generational thing passed down. But part of your life lesson here, pile number ones, with this message from the universe, that what the universe is trying to say to you is to let go of that tradition or that cultural pattern just a little bit more, so you can find that happily ever after here with or emotional satisfaction here with the Ten of Cups upright, in a balanced way, and not so much in a way that's just depending upon one thing. So the imagery I'm seeing here, pile number ones, is like, imagine you're building a stool, right, or a chair. When you build a stool, it's really hard to balance it on just one or two legs, right? Most of the time when you want to build a chair or a stool, you need like 3 legs for balance, right? So that's kind of like representative or metaphorically what I'm seeing here, and the symbolism is um, the way you determine your focus in life is right now a little bit of a one-legged or two-legged stool, you know, and what spirit or universe is saying here is driving you, or suggestion of transitioning to adding another facet there with a third leg to that metaphorical stool, so it makes your life a little bit more stable and balanced, especially with the moderation of temperance here. So, you know, for example, excuse me, my throat's a little scratchy today. If I clear my throat, I apologize. But what I'm seeing here is like right now, there's a little bit of a focus on the monetary, and there's a little bit of a focus on like the material world too much. And they're asking you more to think about, well, what makes you emotionally satisfied, what makes you spiritually satisfied, to find that equal balance so you have a stool that's actually stable to sit on, symbolically speaking. Okay. Also just what drives you as a person, you know, outside of the material or outside of what things look like, or you know, monetary related things, I guess is how I would put that. And the reason they're asking you to kind of look at this in a different way, or shift the way you focus or your drive, is because of that instability I talked about with, you know, if you have a stool with only one leg or only 2 legs, it can't really stand on its own. You know, the more you derive satisfaction from multiple sources when it comes to what drives you in life, the more you can kind of lean on one leg of that metaphorical stool more when one of the other legs falters a bit. So like, that's a little bit vague, or more symbolic speaking, kind of ephemeral. So let's speak more in tangible terms. So for example, like let's say you have a job, right, that is very satisfying in the money realm. It makes you a lot of money. You're that Page of Pentacles right here, having a grand old time exploring the monetary material world, right? Well, let's say all of a sudden the money part kind of gets pulled out underneath you. I'm not saying that it will, but just as in this metaphorical example, trying to illustrate the stool thing I'm talking about. And there's nothing else about this particular job that you like at all. You're just like, you know, it doesn't spiritually satisfy me, it doesn't emotionally satisfy me, etc. And so just because of that one aspect, or that one leg of the stool being pulled out from underneath you, now there's seemingly no drive or focus in this area, okay? Whereas if you found a job that, yes, paid you well, or at least enough to be comfortable, right? But it was also a job that was emotionally satisfying here. It gave you that 10 of Cups feeling of, oh, this is great, right? Happily ever after. It also had more balance in terms of, does it spiritually and or like morally satisfy you, or ethically satisfy you, in terms of, you know, what is the impact of what I'm doing? You know, am I helping people, or whatever it is that might drive you? You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Like say you had a job that was more like that, multifaceted in terms of the benefits, at least internally. Say the money did get a little shaky sometimes, or maybe you had to move to a job that maybe it made a little bit less money, but it was rich in these other factors. Well, there you go. Then you still have like other things to kind of focus on or drive you in this particular job. You know, so that's what I'm saying with the stool example. It's like the more legs you have to stand on, the more, or like the less there's a risk for losing drive and focus in a certain area. Does that make sense, pile number ones? So part of your advice here from the universe, you know, especially with patience, go within and focus, is to really go, you know, like it says on the tin, go within yourself and find what it is that really actually drives you in what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Where does it align with who you are? Where does it align with the things that actually satisfy you as a person outside of the monetary realm? And look at your day-to-day life and find where there's a little bit of a rift between what actually drives you and what is actually being provided by what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Does that make sense, pile number ones? And it's not necessarily something that has to be done very quickly or very sporadically, or, you know, in kind of a, what's the word? Not in like a whiplash manner of, okay, all of a sudden I'm going to change directions, right? Especially because you got the card of patience. So this isn't something that needs to be done like quickly. There's no like major warning here of like, oh, you better change directions now or else, universe shaking its finger at you. No, none of that. But what it is saying is that there's a lot more emotional satisfaction in the long term here for you, pile number ones, if you look at life and what drives you in your day-to-day doings or the things that you do every single day, when moderation and more things for your stool, metaphorically, to stand on are taken into account. Okay, that's how I would summarize that. So, if there's something you've been doing in your life where you feel like you just did it out of tradition, or whatever it is that's driving you, you did out of tradition because that was what was passed down to you as a value from your, like, say, your family or your culture, right? Reevaluate that a little bit and find out what balance or temperance looks like to you. What is your happily ever after? What are different legs of a metaphorical stool that you can lean on that aren't necessarily just the material world? What drives you? What is your passion? What is it that makes you satisfied at the end of the day, outside of just money? And I'm not saying that you're like, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the adjective. Apologies for silence for a moment. I guess I'll put it this way. I'm not saying that you're completely monetarily driven, and like the universe isn't saying that either, pile number ones. I'm not saying that you're like greedy. There's an adjective I was thinking of. Okay. I'm not saying that you're like greedy at all. Of course not. Because, like I said, money is important. The material is important. It's, how we have our soup and how we keep the rain out of our soup, of course. But there's a lot of benefit to be driven from gauging in your life where there's just an imbalance in terms of what drives you, and finding something that makes like a job more multifaceted in terms of the benefits internally to you, I guess. To say that a little bit less vague or nebulous, what I would say is, look for wherever there's dissatisfaction in what you're doing in your day-to-day life, go within, realize what are the other pillars or other legs of the stool that actually keep you up, or feed you emotionally and spiritually as a person, and try to find something in your day-to-day life or a direction in your day-to-day life that more perfectly aligns with that balance, those other legs of the other parts of the stool that you're looking for, I guess is how I would summarize that, pile number ones. Okay. So a little bit more of an encouragement from the universe of not so much a tangible thing, but more of a mindset shift of, okay, where do I find more moderation in my life? What actually is my happily ever after outside of just money and outside of just material things, and here, the things I can touch tangibly here on this earth with that, Yep, and then bucking traditions there too with the Hierophant reversed. Okay. I also want to pull some advice for you, pile number ones, on this journey of shifting your focus here on Spirit. For pile number ones, could you give me about 3 different cards explaining some advice as they maybe gauge this suggestion and take it into account? So you have a bit more of a spiritual, emotional reading today, pile number ones. Okay, and let's see, this one's calling our name. We have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Look at that. So advice. Ten of Pentacles reversed, my friends, is more about, it's kind of like the Hierophant reversed. It can be the card of legacy. It can be the card of inheritance. You see it's like the octopus with the little children here. Reversed, it's letting go of legacy, letting go of the things that we inherit, okay? That's what I was saying before about letting go of, bucking traditions from things that our families passed down and or like our culture has passed down to us through blood and or social conditioning, right? That don't serve us or they're not the bread we need for our soul, to use kind of a metaphor. Things that don't serve us anymore. That type of thing that our families and our cultures passed down. Look at all these tens, Jesus. You got the Ten of Swords upright. This is the card of betrayal or feeling like you've been betrayed or betraying someone else. We'll see what else pops out next to it here. And then we have the Five of Swords reversed. That's all about either the feeling of being after a battle verbally with somebody, or the feeling of avoiding a verbal battle with somebody. It could be that when you gauge this, pile number ones, and maybe as you consider, with free will, you always have the free will to accept or reject things and or decide the direction of your life, of course. But say you do want to make some changes in your life, pile number ones. Your advice from Spirit here is number one, to focus on, like I said, letting go of traditions that aren't serving you anymore, or legacy that isn't serving you anymore, especially with the Hierophant reversed and the Ten of Pentacles reversed as your advice card here. Another aspect here, I would say, pile ones, is to look at, when it comes to the Ten of Swords and Five of Swords reversed next to it, how do I put it? Don't think of it as, if you do buck tradition in some way, don't think of it as a betrayal. I don't think it's going to lead to as many fights or as much of a fight with those around you as you think it will, especially with the Five of Swords being reversed. Especially there with that Ten of Swords. That's feeling like being stabbed in the back almost. Just because you let go of something that's not serving you anymore, just because it was something that your family or culture passed down to you, doesn't mean that you're turning your back on your family or your culture. It's just that you are kind of inventing a new iteration of it and seeing how it works for you. Because a lot of times, when it comes to progress in our lives and, through lessons learned from families, generational things passed down, the only way we can really overcome what's not serving us anymore is through innovation, trying things that are new. So don't really see it as like, oh, I'm betraying my family, I'm betraying my culture. See it as, for the sake of progress, I'm going to try to live my life this way, and I'm going to do that authentically without guilt. I'm not going to be combative about it. I mean, of course, I'm sure you love your family and, the things that they pass down to you. I'm sure there's a lot of benefit to other things that they pass down to you, wisdom and whatnot, but there's always room for improvement and iteration and new generations to try new things to see if they can live life better than the lives of those that came before them. And of course that's what your ancestors would want for you, pile number ones. I mean, they don't want you to suffer. They don't want you to go through the pains and the toils that they did. I mean, a lot of what we do and what we pass down is to make sure that the future doesn't face the same problems that we did, right? Sacrifice in terms of giving to the future by taking from the now, I guess is how I would put that. So also think of that in your own life too. Pile ones, what are you passing down? Depending on if you do have children, maybe you don't have children yet and are thinking about it. It all depends. But, even if you don't have children or don't plan to have children, you do still serve as an example to the youth around you and your family as to, this is an example of how it is possible to live life. Say you do, with your free will, choose to buck tradition in a certain way, and you do serve as a shining example to the youth around you of, hey, I can live my life in a more positive, abundant manner than the generations did before. All it took was that one family member, aka you, pile number ones, to serve as a shining example of, hey, this is possible, and hey, it's okay. I mean, a lot of times most people in life are afraid to be leaders. So I think if you act as a leader in this area, pile number ones, you're likely to inspire others to also follow more positive things in the future and to try new things that let go of the toxicity of the old, in terms of at least what's not serving your family or generations anymore. Like I said, of course, there's always good positive wisdom passed down family generation to generation. Lessons about, working hard, work ethic. There's benefit in teaching your children, like, hey, work hard and try to make money, right? You don't want them to not have that drive at all, right? But also just there's benefit in teaching them not to sacrifice their life to the altar of monetary gain, metaphorically speaking, so that, they aren't just like killing themselves over it, especially with that imagery there of the Ten of Swords stabbing the whale right in the middle. There's no need to put money on such a high altar or such a high pedestal that it becomes the utmost of what drives us in life. Kind of is what I'm seeing here for you, pile number ones. So to summarize your reading, pile ones, look at areas of your life where money or monetary gain or the physical world have become a little bit more important to you, or have been more important to you because of things passed down culturally, teachings from, earlier generations in your family, where it's not serving you anymore, and look to areas where you can find more balance and more moderation, and really reevaluate, like, is my happily ever after because it's what I want, or is it my happily ever after because I'm told that's what I want, or that I should want, okay? Even if it's not just your family, it can be your entire culture telling you these things, like, you must have ABC in order to be happy or to be a fulfilled person, right? Which isn't always true. Every person's fulfillment or happily ever after is a completely different story. It's a completely different ending, right? So just think about what your happily ever after is. Go within, and you don't have to rush forward, like I said before, with your patience card. Just see where you could make slow, positive changes in your life, and, not just for yourself, but like I said before, maybe it's shining an example to the youth around you of how to live life in a better way than the generations did before, okay? So pile number ones, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your Pick a Card reading today on the topic of the universe has an important message for you. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the card Regret here. We have some lovely palm trees with the moon in the background and stars kind of slung between the vines. So we'll set your pile leader off to the left here, as always. We have some oracle cards, but before I flip them over, I want to get some tarot cards pulled as well. So I'll set these here just for a moment. In spirit, for pile number twos, could you give me about 4 different cards explaining what this important message from the universe is for pile twos? Let's see what stands out here. Okay, so that's that one. Pull that one out. Probably this one, 2. This one, 3. And what else is calling our name? How about this one? Right here. 4. Okay. We'll probably pull some other tarot cards too in the future, but we'll start with those 4 for now. Alright, tarot off to the side, and then we have your oracle cards. So, first oracle card is Sacred Destiny. We have Transformation. We have the butterfly, which in symbolism is usually a symbol of rebirth, hence the transformation association. As the butterfly starts as the caterpillar, goes into the chrysalis, and becomes something new. Okay. Regret, transformation, and then your healing. Spirits oracle today is trust in the wise spirits and your prayer will be answered. Lovely. Okay. We also have the number 33 here. If you watched my most recent video, there was another pile that had the card 33 from a different deck. If you did pick that pile, that might be a little bit of a synchronicity if you're watching now this pile in this reading. And then actually I'm going to set this one down here. We're going to put that over here. And then I also have a card from the Pastoral Tarot for you. You received the High Priestess. I always read the High Priestess as intuition and listening to our gut, the things we know intuitively inside. What do we hear? Okay. Also just a gorgeous High Priestess card in general. Okay, and then your tarot cards. The first card we have is the 8 of Wands reversed, slowness in some area, slowdown of movement or energy. Okay. Secondly, we have the Devil, the things that chain or bind us, what holds us down. Okay. Then we have the third card is Justice. Look at all these major arcana. We have, I believe that is the Egyptian goddess Mut. Forgive me if I did pronounce that incorrectly. Weighing the heart and the feather on her scales. Kind of what it says on the tin. Justice. And we have the Queen of Swords reversed. Reversed, I see the Queen of Swords as asking for more energy in terms of internal communication or ideas or thought. Okay, so apologies for some silence or mumbling as I look over your cards and figure out what the message is for you, pile number twos. So we have regret. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what this one said here. Prayers will be answered. Trust in the wise spirits and your prayer will be answered. Okay. God, I love that card. It's so beautiful. Okay, and then the High Priestess. Eight of Wands reverse, slowness. And then the Queen of Swords reversed. It'll jump out at me in just a second here. It always does. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Like I said, it's always that little snap of intuition. I'm like, wait a second. Okay. So pile number 2. So what's going on here is there's some message from the universe about a thing that happened in the recent past where you regretted, hence the pile leader you picked, right? Regret. You regretted not listening to your gut. Okay. I say that because, like I said, your regret card was your leader. We also have the High Priestess here as the Pastoral Tarot card that came out for you. And like I said, when I pulled her out, the High Priestess is all about listening to our gut. What do we feel? What do we know? Things that we intuitively understand deep down. And sometimes we don't always listen to that voice, even if it does it does call to us, but sometimes it's a whisper, and sometimes it's hard to hear the whisper over the clamor of life, right? That's how I see the High Priestess in summary. So, yep, there's something that happened recently, like I said, where you regret not listening to your gut about something. And it's something to do with either a shift that you were looking for in life, kind of like a transformation, like your Sacred Destiny card says there with the butterfly, like I said, turning from the caterpillar into the butterfly, that shift or that rebirth of some sort, right? A shift in life that you either had the opportunity for, or it was something you were kind of pondering, but you decided to turn it away, or there was something that you didn't quite listen to internally, and there's regret. There's a feeling of, I didn't do this idea justice. I didn't listen to my gut. I didn't do my intuition justice with this. I feel trapped now too, especially with the devil. Like I said, that's the thing that binds or chains us. And now I feel kind of stagnant in this area with the Eight of Wands reversed. Or I feel like there's a slowness, or I feel like kind of sluggish in my own intuition because I'm not sure what to trust now that I didn't trust myself before when I should have. I didn't hear the whisper over the clamor of life, like I said before. And with that Queen of Swords reversed, it's like confusion. She's even got her eyes closed, like how Mott in the Justice card has a blindfold. Justice is blind, intuition is blind. It's something that you see within and not without, of course, right? So, it's kind of like a refining of how do I trust myself again after I feel like I failed myself, after I feel like I was given an opportunity, or I was given a hint of what to do or what direction to go, and I didn't take it. So that's where this regret comes in for you, pile number 2s. Okay, so the universe wants to speak to you about this today. And I'm trying to glean what the main message is, though, because that was more of the past energy of, coming to this reading of what's going on. So, of course, there is a positivity here with your prayers will be answered card. I don't think all is lost for you, pile number 2s. I don't think, that your intuition really led you wrong in the first place. Yes, maybe it initially seems like you took, a step off of the beaten path that you thought was laid out for you. But sometimes, even when we do take a detour in life, really what it is just something that winds back to the main path when we thought it was going in a completely different direction. So whatever direction you've taken now or you didn't take, pile number 2s, depending on what's more specific to you as a general reading, everyone's just going to be a slightly bit different, like I always say. You're on the right path, or you're going to get back on the right path, pile number 2s. I do see that confusion clearing up. I do see that transformation back into being able to trust oneself again. I do see that slowness lifting here, that Eight of Wands reversed turning into an upright of, okay, now we're moving again. I don't feel so trapped here with the devil. I'm free. Things will right themselves again, like the balance scales in Mott's hands and in the Justice card here, okay? Let's see if there's any other messages I can glean before I pull any more cards. I would like to pull another set of cards and like advice for you, pile number 2s. Yeah, but there's a lot of regret here. There's a lot of why didn't I listen? It was almost like not a fascination, but a focus on the things that you could see instead of what you heard. You know, what's that saying? It's popping up intuitively for me right now, pile number 2s. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. For some reason that's coming up for me as I'm reading your cards. Pile number 2s could be applicable to at least some of you, hence why it came up. But yeah, it's like you trusted more of one sense over another, and you wished you hadn't, and you had followed your gut instead. Okay. But like I said, I do see that positive turn with transformation, and the prayers will be answered card you got from the Healing Spirits Oracle. Things will be righted. You're not on the wrong path. You're just taking a little bit of a, what's the word? Having a bit of a brain fart right now. A detour, that's the word. You're taking just a little bit of a detour, but things will turn out just fine in the end for you, pile number 2. So this reading from the universe is more so just a, not only a confirmation and a sort of compassion for what you've been going through, it's also a confirmation of, don't worry, everything will work out just fine, okay? That feeling of trapped, that feeling of slowness there will right itself, and that confusion, and there'll be a transformation of, or return back to what was, or what you thought what once had been in your grasp that you think right now that you've lost, okay? So I do want to pull cards here for you as to some advice, pile number 2s. Spirit, for pile number 2s, could you give me some advice cards, maybe 3, please? For some reason I'm getting something intuitively about rivers. I don't know what that's about. Okay, advice cards. Let's pull this one. We have the 3 of Wands, acting on plans made for the future. Okay, so keep whatever plans that you've made, pile number 3, or excuse me, pile number 2. So I said 3 because the 3 of Wands popped out. Whatever plans you made for the future, pile number 2s, start acting on them. Okay. That's what the 3 of Wands is telling me. And then let's pull out this one. We have the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Also popped out in pile 1's reading. Interesting. That's the card of letting go of legacy, of lack of inheritance of some sort, feeling like something wasn't passed down, or maybe worries in a financial area that can mean. Okay, and then we also have the King of Wands. Look at all these wands. Fire energy. Okay, and the King of Wands I generally see as external mastery of passion, willpower, or creativity. Is how I would summarize that card upright, okay? So advice for you, pile number 2s. So, as you're kind of going through this phase of feeling like what was once yours is lost, or, I should have listened to myself, a little bit of, not a sad time necessarily, but a little bit more of a downtime in terms of feeling maybe confident about where you're going in life, or feeling confident about yourself, of your capability to guide the direction of your future. Like I said, be reassured that things will be just fine. You are on the right path, or you'll get back to the right path with that card earlier of the prayers will be answered, right? But your advice here is, like I said, with the 3 of Wands, act on plans that you've already created. So the energy of the 3 of Wands, like I said, comes after the 2 of Wands in Tarot. 2 of Wands is making plans for the future. 3 of Wands is, okay, I've got my ships all set to sail, and now I'm finally embarking on the journey, okay? So whatever you've got planned, go forward with it, pile number 2s, okay? Don't worry so much about hesitating at this stage. I see more of an ask for forward momentum instead of staying in place, okay? And then I also see here with the 10 of Pentacles reversed, and then the King of Wands, how to read those for this question, advice in this situation. 1 second, sorry. I'm also going to take a drink here while I look over. My voice is a bit scratchy today, so. All right, yep, go forward with your plans. Okay, there might also be some family aspect to this pile number 2s, hence the Ten of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. Especially with the octopus with the kids. There also might have been like an inheritance thing related to this. I'm not sure. Of course, generating everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Okay. Yeah. And then that King of Wands. I guess to summarize the other piece of advice here with those 2 other cards besides the Three of Wands pile 2 is to follow whatever you're confident in, or to be confident. Even if you don't feel confident internally quite yet, maybe if you don't necessarily trust yourself internally quite yet again, it's almost like a fake it until you make it type message there with the King of Wands to act as if you are confident in the direction that you're going, okay? And things will start manifesting internally, where it becomes fact instead of fiction, by faking it until you make it, I guess is how I would put it. So wherever you're lacking confidence because of what went on pile number 2s, just trust, like I said, part of that is knowing that you're on the right path, even if you doubt it right now. Because that can spur confidence of like, oh, okay, I'm on the right, I'm going the right direction, right? But even where you are lacking confidence, lean into that King of Wands energy more of feeling, of embodying charisma and confidence in where you're going, even if you don't necessarily feel it inside. 2, maybe there is a little bit of a fear of disappointing family with that Pentacles reversed. Don't fear about, disappointing your family. Don't fear about that type of thing, or at least, how do I put it? So just don't fear family repercussions related to this. Of course, generating everyone's going to be just a little bit different there with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, but that's generally what that card means. And or don't fear monetary repercussions, I guess, is another way to say that. So don't let money hold you back, or a lack of confidence hold you back from embarking on that Three of Wands energy of sailing into the future based on plans you've made now, okay? Like I said, part of the hesitation might be like, well, do I keep going on this path because I feel like I made the wrong choice? But just keep going. You'll be eventually one back, or go to exactly where you need to be, or where like you want to be. Pile number 2s. It's just that right now you're taking just a little bit of a detour on the way there. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions I want to ask for you, pile number 2s. Let me see. I want to ask how you'll get back to the path. I mean, I know we already kind of said that with the advice cards here, but how will you get back to that path, or how will that manifest tangibly, I guess is another way to say that. So Spirit, for pile number 2 how will that manifest tangibly in terms of how they get back to the path that they want to be on, where there's faster movement and a feeling of justice and not being chained down in some way. How do they get back to that path? How does that manifest actually physically here? We have the Death card reversed, okay. That can also be a card of rebirth, but reversed. It's not quite at that phase of transitioning yet, okay. The Page of, that is Cups, exploring emotions, okay. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Lovely. Look at all these wands. So how that'll manifest tangibly for you, pile number 2, is in terms of like how you'll get back to the path that you thought that you were, the thing that you thought that you lost. Well, Death reversed is, like I said, something that isn't quite at an end yet. It's not quite at the point of rebirth. So that's what I was saying earlier about like keep going on the path that you're on, pile 2s. Not all is lost if you just keep walking forward with this, okay? Things are not over. It's not ready to transform into something new. And yeah, so like how that tangibly manifests is when you're at the point of, when a lot of emotions are kind of overwhelming you, with that Page of Cups, especially because that's like exploring emotions, right? And then the Queen of Wands is internal confidence. So, it's interesting because before we had the King of Wands as a piece of advice, and then you have the Queen of Wands here. So it's at the point of when that fake it till you make it actually becomes that internal confidence here of the Queen of Wands. And when you've kind of explored your emotions around this with that Page of Cups, or when the emotions are kind of at a high point with that Page of Cups, and when like I said, with Death reversed, it's like it hasn't, it's not quite at a point of rebirth yet. You're not quite back on that path yet. But when you start feeling confident again, I guess how I would say internally, and it's not just faking it till you make it, that's a sign that you're almost right back to where you're supposed to be, okay? I guess is how I would say that. Pile number 2 is, let's see if there's anything else I can glean for you before I sign off with you for the night. Yeah, and Death Reverse, too, is interesting, because that is the rebirth card, but you're not quite yet at the point of transformation, how that manifests tangibly. Yeah, okay. Sorry for the silence, I'm just making sure I'm getting all the meanings extracted for you before I sign off with you, pile 2s. Okay. Yeah, so just fake it till you make it, pile 2s. Just because, if it was a mistake, for example, it doesn't mean that you'll always make the same mistake, or that, it might not have even really been a mistake in the first place. It was just, like I said, a little bit of a detour, and things will turn out just fine there with that Prayers Answered card earlier. It's just, there's a lot of emotional exploration and kind of, getting back on the path to confidence in this area again before it actually tangibly feels like, okay, I'm back to where I was supposed to be. I'm not feeling chained anymore. I'm not feeling like confused, and I'm not feeling like things have slowed down or things are not quite right, or like when you can trust your gut or your intuition again. Okay. Connecting that High Priestess energy earlier with the Queen of Wands that you got here. Okay. All right, well, pile number 2s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of the universe having an important message for you. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was Reconnect. We have some roots here growing through the moon and some butterflies flying around the top. So as always, we'll put your pile leader down here to the left. We will go over your oracle cards in just a second, but I also want to pull some tarot cards for you on this topic, so I'll just set those over here. Spirit, for pile number 3s, could you give me about 4 different tarot cards explaining this important message you have for them? Let's see what pops out. Okay, that one almost flipped, but... Okay, that one for sure, I think. We have the Hangman reversed. Oh, look, and the Emperor, too. Lots of major arcana. Okay. Talk about those in a second. Then I also want to pull this one. And let's do this one. Okay. Alright, tarot in a second. Let's first look at your oracle cards, pile number 3s. For your Pastoral Tarot, I use kind of as an oracle card. You received the 5 of Pentacles. That's the feeling of having a lack in a certain area, of poverty, or feeling like an institution has failed you. Okay. Your oracle card from the Destiny, or Sacred Destiny Oracle, I should say, is Relaxation. Relaxing, reconnecting. I don't know if you've been suffering from some sort of lack of energy lately, pile number 3s. We'll see what else pops out here. And then your Healing Spirits Oracle is time to move forward. Okay. Lovely. Set that one here. And then your tarot cards, of course you saw the Hangman reversed pop out. Shifting to a new perspective or needing to see things in a different way. I also get a feeling of tiredness from this one, okay? We have the Emperor, which is masculine energy, structure, authority, logic, that type of thing. Can mean fatherly energy as well. Okay, then we have the Hierophant. God, look at all these major arcana, pile number 3s. I always say in my readings, if you watch my other readings, you're probably like, oh, this is ad nauseum at this point, but generally I see a lot of major arcana cards in readings where there's a major life lesson involved for the querent, aka you. So, and then you have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so there is one sword suit here, which is a new thought, a new idea, a new direction mentally. And then the Hierophant, I didn't say that earlier, is about tradition. Can mean society or spirituality too. Typically, traditionally it was depicted as a pope, right? So that can mean, yeah, tradition, things passed down, that type of thing. Okay, one moment as I look over your cards and glean your message pile number 3s. Okay, time to move forward. Okay. So pile number 3s, I think what's going on here that the universe wants to speak to you about is there's some area of your life where you've just been feeling kind of drained and or tired. And I say that because you have not only the Five of Pentacles, which is the card of a lack of something in the material world. You also have the Hanged Man reversed, which is asking for like a new shift of perspective. And you also have kind of, it's interesting when I see cards that are kind of opposite in meaning here, like relaxation, which is kind of a nice dreamy card of, finally resting after a period of time, right? Contrasted with a card like the Five of Pentacles, where it's like, man, I'm tired, right? That's kind of how I see it, right? I see that as a meaning that the reading is about a shift from one extreme to another. And like I said, with all this major arcana popping out, the Hangman, the Emperor, and the Hierophant, right? This is a major life lesson that's happening that the spirit and the universe wants to talk to you about, okay? Especially here too with that it's time to move forward card, that's about forward momentum in some area. So I think, like I said, there's something where you've been feeling kind of tired. It feels like you've always been kind of losing yourself into something. It could be a lot of hard work recently. It could be maybe something major has happened in your family or in your own life. It could be even health related here, especially with the Five of Pentacles up there. I'm seeing maybe health related things where it's been draining you a lot. It could be caring for someone else, or it could be just self-care related reasons. Maybe something health related has popped up, like I said. And it's almost kind of made you feel like you've lost a sense of connection with yourself. Hence your card Reconnect that you chose as your pile leader. And look at all this green too. I mean, not only do you have the green of the new leaf or new sprout growing here in your Reconnect card, your time to move forward card has heart chakra vibes, and with the green glow and like the green plants growing. There's a green veil on the Five of Pentacles, and there's a lot of green here in a lot of your cards here from the Ostara Tarot. And that means healing and or growth. So what the universe wants to speak to you about, pile 3s, is moving on from this time of weariness or this time of ill health, whether that be for yourself or for someone else that you maybe are taking care of or that you love, be it a partner, a friend, or a family member, right? And finally shifting into a time of relaxation and reconnecting with who you were before this stressful period of time, okay? That's how I would summarize your reading for you, pile number 3s, okay? Looking at your tarot cards, though, yeah, it's like you've had to, like, your world is kind of completely flipped upside down with that Hanged Man reversed. It's like you've had to come at life with like an entirely new perspective. Maybe you've had to put some things on the back burner. You've had to think about life very, very logically, and maybe even having some struggles with faith at this time, because a lot of times when we go through struggles in life, it can shake our faith in the universe being in our favor or having our back, or spirit having our back, that type of thing. Especially with the Hierophant, because like I said, the Hierophant can mean something to do with spirituality. Like what is with the Emperor next to it, which is the card of logic or masculine energy. It's like I almost hear you saying or thinking like, well, what is the logic in what spirit is doing to me or what's happened in my life, right? And like I said, we can come to that thought a lot when things are not going well in our life or in others, or the lives and the people that we care about, of course, right? But there is a shift into the new mentally here, especially with that Ace of Swords. The aces are always like a new direction or like a new spark of something in their suit, and the swords are the suit of air, which is communication, ideas, and thoughts. So I do see a mindset shift here. I do see something new in terms of the direction of the way that life is for you, especially with your relaxation card and reconnect next to it. There's a movement from that poverty or that lack of feeling secure in whatever is going on in your life, be it health related for yourself or others. Or it could even be like, maybe could be monetary technically with the Five of Pentacles. It might not just be health, but because of the abundance of green and heart chakra energy here, and like growth type imagery I'm seeing, I think it's probably health or energy related for you. It could even be something emotional in terms of like mental health. Like depression can really drain you of a lot of your energy. So it might not just be a physical thing, but in general for everybody, general reading, everyone's going to be just a bit different, I always say, but there's some sort of thing that's been draining you, something that's kind of had, it's put a little bit of a rut in your life, and the universe wants to talk to you about getting past this rut and finally, after whatever this battle has been, a time of relaxation, a time of moving forward, a time of reconnecting with who you were before this thing had drained you. I almost kind of see it as like there's something parasitic here that's been just kind of like sucking your energy away, like not of course like in terms if you are caring for someone else, it doesn't mean that the person that you're caring for is like a parasite. I don't mean that in any way, of course, but it's just that especially when things go on that change our day-to-day life so much and drain our energy, it's like it almost feels like you have like a like a lamprey attached to your side, or like a leech on your foot, I always kind of think of. And like what the universe is telling you is that feeling of something parasitic is finally going to be released. And so there's finally recuperation from whatever this was that has been draining you. Pile number 3 is okay. Let's see, what other questions do I want to ask for you? I'm going to take a drink here just one moment as I think over that. I want to make sure I ask a pertinent question that helps you the most that it can, pile 3s. Okay, so I want to ask what specifically it is that has been bugging you or has been draining you, pile 3s. Typically, I don't ask for too many specifics in the area just because this is a general reading. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but I'm going to ask Spirit if they can give us more details that are at least applicable to the majority of you. So, Spirit, for pile 3s, can you explain more about what it is that's been draining them? I get the sense that it's mostly health related. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, okay? Working hard. Something's really, you've been toiling at something, okay? Oopsie, I can't take the whole deck, Spirit, sorry. Toiling away, working hard, beating the hammer, okay? We have the 6 of Wands reversed, feeling like there's been a lack of victory in areas. It's not just the process of it that feels like it's been draining you, it's the lack of success that has been draining you, pile number 3s. Yeah, hard work and feeling like there's no success from it. And then we also have the 6 of Swords, feeling like you can't move on somewhere. Okay, that's funny too, because like I said earlier, you got it's time to move forward from your Healing Spirits Oracle. The 6 of Swords reversed is the energy of feeling like I need to move on somewhere, but I can't. Or there's something blocking me from moving forward. So, just for more description of like what it is, this thing that's been draining your energy, pile 3s, to summarize, is it's something you've been working hard at, something that you feel like there's not a lot of victory out of what you've been putting into it. It feels like there's no end in sight, is the energy I'm getting off these cards, and it feels like, a feeling of like, oh, I'm stuck here, I can't move forward. So what the universe is telling you is that this is finally going to shift here from your earlier cards, and these troubles will, there'll finally be some momentum built, and you'll be reconnecting to who you are, like the energy that you had before, and you can finally relax here with your relaxation card. Let's see if there's anything else I want to pull for you, pile 3s. Pretty straightforward reading, okay. I want to ask how this will be moved or how this will be fixed. Spirit, for pile 3s, could you explain more about how this will be fixed? 3 cards, please. Okay, that one almost flipped over, not quite. How will this be fixed? How will this be reconnected or okay, we have the Three of Cups. A social group is involved. You help from other people. Okay. That's message number 1 with that. We have the Eight of Cups, emotionally moving on. Okay. A lot of Cups energy here. Okay, emotions. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Lovely. Material satisfaction. Comfort. Yeah, I really get the sense that you've been caring for someone, either yourself or someone else. There's a lot of energy like that here. So how will this be fixed, pile number 3s? How will this shift change and this healing or recovery or reconnecting, relaxation? Yep. So number 1, like I said, the Three of Cups is all about a group of people. Okay. So if you haven't already, lean more on the people around you as much as you can, and as much as they're able to help you in terms of overcoming this thing. You know, especially if you're being drained, don't be afraid to ask for more help in terms of, like, let's say it's work that's really been draining you, okay? And there's someone that you live with in your living situation that maybe can help more at home or in other areas, or can take more of a burden, or even if it is at work, you know, ask maybe your manager, like, hey, can someone else take, you know, maybe at least one task off of my shoulders while I handle this heavy burden, right? You know, or if it is health related, like I'm seeing for a lot of you, I think pile 3s, look for areas where other people can take care of you more. I get the sense maybe you're pretty independent minded. Maybe you feel like you have to be self-reliable all the time. It's okay to take a rest. It's okay to, you know, I mean, even here in the picture, it's like these 3 women holding these cups and sipping from them, especially that one up here. You know, take time for self-care, you know, especially when it comes to other people around you helping you with that self-care, pile 3s, okay? Yeah. So other people will be involved in the fixing of this or the recovering from this, okay? With that Three of Cups, there's a group of people involved, okay? Could even be if it's something where there's like a, especially if it's like a mental health thing, maybe group therapy would be helpful in terms of getting back on your feet mentally. That could be one meaning of the Three of Cups, right? As a how this will be fixed, right? The Eight of Cups is interesting because the Eight of Cups in the middle here is about emotionally moving on from something, emotionally moving forward. So I get the sense too of that just being like time healing wounds here, kind of one step at a time, moving forward and away from this. I don't really see it as like a very like instant thing. That's more, yeah, I kind of see the Eight of Cups as taking it one step at a time emotionally, alongside the general meaning of emotionally moving forward from something or leaving something behind, okay? So just take it one day at a time, pile number 3s, okay? Really cherish the different milestones of recovering and getting better from whatever this is. And I do see that, yeah, that leaving this behind with that Eight of Cups, so with the help of other people, you know, helping you with your self-care, that type of thing. And then the Queen of Pentacles too, as another like how card, is about, like I said, internal security. I mean, she has garlic and shafts of wheat around her and healthy livestock. It could be that there is like an upturn in terms of monetary funds. It could be more success at work, maybe kind of helps lift your mood or lift your energy. It could even be just part of the recovery from whatever this is surrounding yourself with good food and good comforts. That's kind of how I would see the Queen of Pentacles as a how card. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else I can glean for you, pile 3s here before I sign off with you. Yeah, see if there's any repeated numbers too. Let's see, 3, 8, 10. And the Hanged Man, I think, is number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, the Major Arcana doesn't say numbers in this deck, but... yeah, okay. So just to summarize your reading, pile number 3s, I don't see any repeated numbers, but feel free to drop a comment below if you do see one that I didn't quite catch. To summarize your reading, pile number 3s, the universe has wanted to impart a message to you about a time of ill health or a time of low energy. And finally, there's a breakthrough coming in that area for you where you're going to be able to reconnect with the energy that you had. You're going to finally be able to relax. There's a new mental direction, especially if it is mental and not just physical health that has been at stake here. There is newness and new life in that area, okay? Lean a little bit on social groups where you can, or the others around you. I'm sure your loved ones would love to help you. Especially lean into self-care too, or see where others can help you with self-care. Especially if you are even if it's not necessarily yourself that you're taking care of, that's been kind of draining your energy. If it's you're taking care of someone else, caregivers themselves also need self-care and others to care for them. You can't just be, what's the term? No man is an island. Is that what it is? You can't stand completely on your own, pile number 3s, or you don't have to. There are, I'm seeing with these cards, resources available to you to help you and provide more material security around you and comfort, to help you regain, your strength and or your energy here. But yeah, so I do see prosperity in this area in the future. Just be reassured that that 5 of Pentacles energy isn't here forever, okay? Things will shift. It's just going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of self-care, a little bit of help from others around you, and a little bit more focus on one day at a time, one milestone at a time. But there is a guarantee here with that reconnect and relaxation of, it's time to move forward too is your other card. I forgot that for a moment. Especially all the all the green too. Green, of course, is the card of nature. We associate with healing, right? There is healing at hand. So just be assured that things will be just fine, okay? The universe just wanted to kind of assure you of that, okay? But yeah, lean on other people around you. Focus on your milestones. Congratulate yourself for your milestones of recovery, right? Of self-care, okay? Pat yourself on the back for taking self-care or taking care of yourself or being willing to ask for help, okay? And things will turn out just fine for you. So pile number 3s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Be sure to treat yourself, okay? Buy yourself a little bit extra candy. Take a nice hot bubbly bath or something, that type of thing, okay? And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.